Hey everybody, it's Derek again with the Ultimate Hang, and today I'm checking out the Chill Gorilla. We've got their double hammock, and as well as I've got a tarp set up over here I'm going to take a look at. And they also sent me a pair of straps. Now, their hammock is very typical like other parachute nylon hammocks you've seen on the market. One distinguishing difference is, I don't know if you can see it in this video, it's a diamond ripstop, which is a little bit more comfortable in terms of the hand and the feel and the lay than maybe a parachute nylon hammock. It's not as thick a fabric, and you know, it packs down pretty well. I really like their straps. They've got a very thick, let me see if you can see this here. Their straps are much like a seatbelt polyester fabric. It's got a nice tracer on it. All of the stitching and manufacturing is really well done. I'll have to go home and measure it, but it looks to me right now it's a little bit thicker than 1 inch, or not thicker, wider. I mean, it is a thick strap, very durable, robust. No issues in terms of quality or durability here. So if you're looking for a pair of daisy chain straps for hammocks, this is a fantastic strap. No problems there. So let's go ahead and set up this hammock and show you how it looks. All right, here's the Chill Gorilla double hammock, and this is the end channel. Another really nice feature I like about this hammock versus other, you know, run-of-the-mill hammocks is instead of just using some cheap nylon rope, they're using some really nice webbing, continuous loops, or I also like the term infinity loops, here on the end channels. Now I've loosened this up a little bit so you can see how it works. One nice thing about these infinity loops is instead of just doing this lark's head kind of girth hitch here on the end, you can actually, if you loosen this up, you can take both loops and attach them to the hammock together. And I'm going to show you that in just a second. There's some advantages in terms of how the hammock works when you do it that way. Now, cinched up like this is your typical hammock, and you can notice how it kind of scrunches up like a little donut here. What happens with a hammock like this, a gathered in hammock, this is very typical, right? Everything's cinched up. But what happens is the fabric in the middle is actually has the most, what would you call it? The length of the fabric, where the sides here, they're curled up quite a bit more, and they lose a little bit of the length when the hammock is actually laid down. So that actually contributes to having the sides of the hammock barrel up in that canoe fashion that you might be familiar with in a hammock. One way to eliminate that and kind of loosen the sides a little bit is to not cinch it up in this way. And I'll show you another way to cinch it up, where you can loosen these sides a little bit instead of having it all tucked up like this U kind of donut shape on a hammock fabric. Because when those sides are tightened up like that, it makes it a little more difficult to get a diagonal lay where you can lay flat across the bias of the hammock fabric. So let me pause here and I'll show you how you can loosen this up. And this really, it can only work when you have a continuous or infinity loop like this. It doesn't have to be a webbing strap, although the webbing, I think, helps soften up the fabric a little bit. Doesn't bind as well as or bind as much as a rope. All right, here I've loosened that continuous loop, the infinity loop, and attached both ends to the carabiner. Now, the Chill Gorilla hammock doesn't come with these carabiners. It's just I brought these for convenience sake for working today. The Chill Gorilla comes with black anodized steel kind of carabiners you've seen there. They're less expensive. I would recommend replacing those. They're just more difficult to work with. They snag a lot. But anyways, for this purpose, I'm using these carabiners. You can see I've got this infinity loop, and I've loosened both ends. Now see what happens. See how the fabric is no longer all cinched together like a donut? They relax already quite a bit just hanging like this. But once you get into the hammock, that fabric now is more free to move up and down as you move in the hammock. So as you lay diagonally, that's actually going to pull the fabric bias asymmetrically. And that actually allows the fabric to relax and open up a lot more to give you a flatter lay when you lay diagonally. So this is actually a great technique for a gathered in hammock. If you've got a gathered in hammock that cinches up like most do, I'd recommend trying one of these infinity loops or continuous loops and actually attaching both ends like this so it actually opens up instead of cinching it all together. Anyway, there it is, the Chill Gorilla. You can see here's the construction is very typical of any parachute nylon hammock. The main differences are the better fabric, this diamond ripstop. It's got the better end loops, and then the fabric just has a better feel. It's a little bit lighter. But the construction itself is pretty much standard that you would see pretty much everywhere else. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. You guys have a great day. We'll catch you more up on the Hammock Lab coming up soon.